this is what you are going to be making. Okay, this device is for learning about gear ratios. And so what you're going to do is you're going to be building it. Okay, and you can see that it's set up to be built in sections. Alright, so you have this upper part, that's section 1. You have section 2 right here. This is kind of like where section 2 comes together. And then over here we have section 3. This is kind of like section 3 over here. And then, of course, section 4 finishes up over there. Alright? So anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to look at the different sections. Okay? This is section 1. Okay? And this is what you will build when you build section 1. Alright? Now, building section 1 is going to involve getting the parts together that you need. And this is what it'll look like when it's finished. Take a real good look here. Okay. Now, if you build section 1, you're going to be working with the motor. And hopefully you've already been given the discussion on how to use the motor without breaking it. But here are the parts for section 1. Okay. Those are the parts for section 1. Okay. You've got a blue tab in there. Don't forget about that. You got a couple of dark gray spacers, blue spacers. This is called a tan lock. Alright? So you got a couple tan locks in there, blue spacers there. You can see all the stuff that you have, gray rods. So these are the parts for part 1. Okay? Alright. Let's take a look at part 2. This is part 2. And these are the parts for part 2. And when you build part 2, this is what it'll look like. Alright, this is what you got going on here. Alright, it's not a real complicated piece. You just have to make sure that your purple connectors go together. You got a couple things dangling right here. You want to make sure you're accurate. Placement of what it is you're building. Alright, and again, here are the parts for part 2. So you have part 2 and all of its parts. You can see that you don't have any spacers, just basic KNEX parts. Alright, green green rod right there. Alright, now we're going to look at part 3. Here's part 3. It looks like this. There's part 3, and you can see that it kind of comes together like this down at the bottom. You got some triangles being made with the yellow and the red. Alright, there you go. And then here are the parts for part 3. Part 3 has a lot of purple connectors, a lot of white rods. See how we got these parts separated? You got a gray rod and blue rods. Alright, that's part 3 parts. Now on to part 4. Part 4. Here we go. This is what part 4 looks like. Part 4, when you look at it, put it together. Okay. You got a 90-degree angle here between this gray rod and this blue. Nice 45-degree angle right here. These yellow rods. Okay. And this is part 4. And there you can see the parts for part 4. You can see how you have a gray rod and connectors and stuff like that. Alright. That is part 4. Alright. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back through the parts and we're going to build each part individually for you. So you know exactly how to build it. Alright, so we're going to adjust the camera here a little bit. Alright, and hopefully we'll get a pretty decent shot here at the building process. And here here's what you're building, okay, right here. And so the first thing you want to do is you want to connect your purple connectors. Make sure that when you connect your purple connectors, they snap together. Then you take those, snap them on like that. Okay. Then you're going to take a blue rod in like that. I'm going to slide these up and out of the way, so maybe it'd make it easier to see it. Okay. And now we take a white rod like that, and a white rod like that. Okay. And then if you look at our design, you can see that we have some yellow connectors there. So you're going to take a green rod and a green rod like that. Whoops. Nope, you don't need one like that. Sorry about that. Goes like this. Got a little carried away. And then you take your green rod down like that. Okay, that's how you want it, a green rod. Okay? So that's one side. Go to the other side. Repeat the process. Just like so. There you go. Take your green rod, plump it on there like that. Looking pretty good there. Looking pretty good. Alright? Then you take your yellow, or your gray rod, you can extend it off like that. There you go. Then, take this black rod. This is a black rod. And it's going to go through those two yellow. Just like that. Okay? Now, very important, on this side, you're going to take one of these gray spacers. One of these gray spacers right here, and you're going to put that right on there like so. Okay? Then you're going to take a tan lock and you're going to put it on like that. Just like that. Okay, so kind of make sure you have that set up going on there. Then, in between here, you're going to take dark gray connector, snap it on, pull it tight. Another dark gray connector, snap it on, like so. And then on the other side, take a dark gray connector, like so. Alright, so your black rod looks like this. Okay? Just like that. Then, what you're going to do is you're going to take this blue rod and snap it right on there like that. And then you're going to take gray spacer, slide it down, and then you're going to take your blue spacers. Slide them on down, slide them on down, just like that. So you have blue spacers. Then you take a red connector, just cap it off so the blue and the gray spacers don't come on. Okay? Then you are ready for the most important part. Okay? You're going to take your motor with the cord facing in this direction. You're going to slide the motor onto those two gray rods. Okay? Slide it right on down like that. Okay? And then you're going to take a red connector and put it right in there so your motor, it's in between the motor. Then you're going to take and you're going to put another red connector. Snap it in there. Okay. Then come to the other side and you snap your red connectors on like that. Okay? Now at this point, you're ready to connect those red connectors. So you slide them in like so. And then you put the other one in from the other side. There you go. And this is a handle for sliding the motor. Okay? And it holds the motor in place. Now the last thing you need to do is on your motor there's this front hole, and you want to take your yellow rod and push it in there, and you got to push it in nice and hard and it should snap. Then you take your tan lock like that. Okay? So the little tab is pointing out. And then the last thing you take is your blue tab, snap it on there like so. Okay? And then you are officially done with part 1. Okay? Officially done with part 1. And now we can go on to part 2. Okay? So moving on to part 2. Part 2 is not quite so complicated, and what you're going to do is you're going to start with a purple connector, and then you're going to put a white rod like that. Let's get these out of there, make it a little easier to see, and then you'll get a yellow rod and snap it on like that. And then, on the other side, you'll snap another white rod. And then, a green connector. And you want your green connector to kind of point upward, okay? So now, we're going to take a white rod and snap it in there so that it's coming up like that. Okay? And then the white connector like so. And a blue rod that comes down like that. And these don't connect, but it comes down like that. Then you take a blue rod, snap it in, snap it in. Okay? So you have a nice, solid triangle. When you put it down there, this stays up. Okay? Now, you take a white rod, snap it into the side, like so. Then you take another white rod, and you snap it in the top like that. Next, you're going to take 2 more blue connectors, snap those together. So you want to make sure that when you put these together, they snap, snap, snap. And then you put this on top of the white rod. Okay? Then you take a blue rod and you connect it like that. Okay? Then a white rod that goes out like so. So now you have a point right here where those are almost creating a vertex. And then you take a white rod and put it on top of the purple connector. Okay? Now we want to take our last 2 purple connectors. I may have been calling them blue. These purple connectors, snap them together just like so. Now, you take your red rod and you want it to come down at a 45-degree angle so that it comes down and meets the yellow. Okay? Then you'll take this blue rod, and this is going to be the trickiest part probably, and you're going to snap it in to the purple connector. Okay? So it goes into this point right here. Okay, not the top, not this point, right there. Then you take a blue rod, and these parts are kind of like the parts that hang and dangle here, okay? They're the parts that hang. And so what you're going to do is take a blue rod and put a white connector on it. Then you're going to take a white rod and make a 90-degree angle. And then on each end, you're going to put a dark gray connector. Okay? And then this simply hangs, goes on like this, and hangs. Okay? Just like so. Alright? Then we take a blue rod, snap that on. Take another, blue rod and snap a gray on it. Snap a gray on the other end. Put it on, just like so. Okay? So this is what you've got going on here, just like that. Alright? And then the last thing we do is we take our little green rod, snap it in, little green rod, snap it in, and this goes on like so. So you have that, then you have three things dangling there, and then your red snaps on like that, and then they can't come off. And now you've completed part 2. Okay? So you can get a pretty good idea of what part 2 looks like. Okay? Alright, now we're going to move on to part 3. And you can see what part 3 looks like. Okay, it's this part right here. Alright, kind of like part 2, a little bit. And what you're going to do is you're going to start out with a couple of purples. Okay, so you start out with a couple purples. And you're going to go purple to purple and make those 90 degrees. Alright? Then you take a white rod, snap it in, and a white rod, snap it in. Then you're going to put a white rod on the end, and a white rod on the end. Then a green connector, and another green connector. Alright? And this will sit just like that. Okay? Part 3. Then you're going to take a yellow rod, and you're going to take and extend it this way. And that's going to sit on the table. Okay? Then you take a white rod, and you're going to put it here. And then another white rod, you're going to put there. Okay? Then on top of that, you're going to take and put a white connector and another white connector. And these two white connectors have enough space in between them so that you can put a white rod. Then we take blue rods and we're going to come into our white connectors like that on both sides. So we have something that is kind of symmetrical from side to side. And then we take a blue rod like so. And then we take two white rods like so. Perfect. Okay? And then we take two purple connectors and we snap it on like so. White rod, like this. And things looking pretty good right now. Okay. Now, our yellow connector will go on like that. Okay. And that will allow us to bring a red rod up into the purple. So now we have a brace to keep this from tipping over. Okay? Then we take this blue rod right here, and we're going to put it across like so. And that secures everything up. The last thing we have to worry about is our gray rod. We snap it in like so. Okay? And that is part 3. Okay, moving on to part 4. Part 4 is our final part. Okay? And you can see all the pieces we have. And what we're going to do with part 4 is we are going to take purple connectors, snap them together. Now, we want the arch or the round part to go this way, and we want a white rod coming off of it. Okay? Get this out of there. Make it a little easier to see part 4. And then we take a green connector, snap it on like so. Then we take a white rod, snap it on like so. Take a blue rod, snap it on like so. And a snowflake, as you kids like to call them, but really a white connector, snap it on like that. Okay? Then we take a yellow rod and we take it off of the purple connector like so. So there's a 90-degree angle like that. Okay? And this is followed by a yellow connector off the end of it, and another yellow rod like that. Okay. So that's what we have so far. And then we have a red rod that comes off of our yellow connector like that, and another one going in the opposite direction. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Okay. Then we come back here and we snap a white rod into there. And now we're going to make another 90-degree angle with our purple connectors. Snap them together. And then these go on like this. And now we're ready to keep building up. Whoops. Let me turn that. That got snapped the wrong way. Sorry about that. It should be flat right here, like that, okay? Because this is going to come off like that. Okay? Then we have our white rod, like so. Something doesn't look right here. We have this. Oops. Nope. I was wrong. Let's back this up. This doesn't go there. This actually is going to go on top, like that. There we go. There we go. We needed another layer of the purple. Then we take this. There we go. Now we're on track. Okay, now we're on track. Put this connector on like so. And we're going to turn it. And we want to make sure that the purples are in line here. Okay. And then we put on our blue, and we put on our white. There we go. There we go. And this is what it looks like. Okay. And then the very last thing, we put our gray rod like this, and then our last two purple connectors snap together, and they go on like that. There we go. There we go. Alright, so now we have our parts. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take part 4, 3, and 2, and we're going to put them all together. Okay, so we're going to move them down here. And our final product is right there. So, we're going to bring everything down here. And we're going to put part number 1 off to the side. Okay, so those are part number 1. And we want to take part number, we have 4, and we have 3, and we're going to do some connecting. Okay? We're going to do some connecting here. Okay? So what we want to do is we want to start out with the various parts that we have. Okay? And we're going to take part 2. Okay? We're going to take part 2 and turn it this way. Okay? So this is part 2. This is part 2. Alright? Then we're going to take part 4 and we're going to turn it this way. That is part 4. So we have part 2 and part 4 like this. Then we are going to take part 3, and we're going to bring it around like this. Okay? So that's part 3. And then the last thing we have is part 1. We have part 1. Part 1 will go on top like that. Okay, it'll go on top. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. Alright, we are going to take part 2 and part 4 and connect them. There's 3 back there. We're going to take 2 and 4 and connect them. Almost like zippering up a coat. Alright? So there's 2 and there's 4. Okay? Now, here's 2, it's got the dangly things, and here's 4, got the long gray rod. Then we're going to take part 3, and part 3 is going to come in here like this. Part 3 will connect just like this. So we'll connect it in the back, and then we will connect it up here. Okay? So if we take part 3, let's get 2 and 4 out of there. This is part 3. We're going to snap it in place. It snaps down here. Snaps down there. Then we come over to the back side here, and we snap on this side. Okay? And don't forget to snap at the bottom too. Okay? So now everything should be nice and secure. Okay? So those are parts 1, 2, or I'm sorry, those are parts 2, 3, and 4. Part 1 is the last part to go on. Part 1 is the last part to go on. Okay? And when you put part 1 on there, you have these swinging parts from part 2. These rods right here will go back into there. Okay? We'll connect here and here. These little green rods